Well, a lot of you probably thought that the last video I made would be the last in this BCS video series, and that was my true point of view. What I was doing in that video was providing a full on argument against the BCS, just like in the video before that, where I gave the argument for the BCS, which I have to say was surprising and easy. You know, if you guys ever try it, whenever you want to formulate an argument against your position, I find it's easier because you just think about everything you believe and then you just switch it around. But no, it's been really great. This conversation has been awesome, and I've got a lot of great feedback from people. This video is just going to give me my personal opinion on the whole situation. And I've given it before, but this one will be a little bit toned down because when I gave it during the college football season, I was mad, I was angry, I was passionate. Now I've kind of been able to, football season's over. It's been over for a couple weeks now. And just kind of give you what I think on the whole deal. Now, it's not going to be one of those things where I gave you the one side, then I give you the other side, and then I give you mine. I'm right down the middle. You guys know I am not a BCS supporter. I don't like it, and I really do think that a playoff system would be much better to do than what we've got right now. Because a lot of things I may say may reiterate what I said in the last video, but I do believe that you can't create an undisputed champion with this BCS and the way it's going right now. The scholarship limit that has been reduced really is one of the major factors and reasons you can't get two undefeated teams at the end of the year. Parity is going on back and forth throughout college. Guys that are good enough to play at Texas are now going to Texas A&M or Tulsa or wherever. And same with SC. They're going to Washington. They're going to different places. And so those smaller teams, smaller market teams, are able to come up and nip at those top tier teams, knocking them off here and there. So then you get to the sense where we are now, where you have to sit there, well, this loss was worse, that loss was better, and it kind of goes downhill there. So that's why, and the thing is, you know what, personally, I just can't accept it. And some people think that's a bad argument to say, well, who cares if you can't accept the fact that a team's there? That's how it is. Sports is for entertainment. Let's be real, guys. Sports is for entertainment. And if most of the fans are not happy with certain elements of a sport, maybe something needs to be changed. And not just for fans' perspective, but the players and the coaches feel the same way. I know Texas players, and I know that's a bad example because of everything that happened this past year, but I know they've been wanting a playoff system for a while, and USC and all those guys. At the same time, I don't want to make it some huge playoff. I know Mike Leach has said 65 teams like March Madness. Of course, I'm against that, but I think it may be better than just the top two. Me personally, I would say 8 would be the limit. I know some people think that's too much, some think it's too less. Of course, a +1 is definitely an upgrade from what we have now. And I understand the fact why some people don't want an 8 because, well, it kind of diluted a little bit. But here's the deal. In the NFL, your 8th best team in the league is going to have maybe 4 or 5 losses at some times. In college football, if you've got 2 losses, you're lucky to be in the top 8. So if you extend it to 8 teams, you're not going to have some sorry, undeserving team in there, even throughout those 8 teams. I mean, I know this season is different, but I don't think any team with more than 2 losses was in the top 8. Now, is there still going to be controversy? Are there still going to be teams at that 9 slot or that 10 slot that are going to complain? Of course, there's no way you're going to get around any kind of non-controversy. There's too many teams, which is great. I love that there's so many teams, but there's too many teams to actually set things off and make things as fair as possible. But I would rather the 9 slot team be complaining over the fact that they can't get in, rather than the 3 slot team who's got just as good a record as the top 2 teams and has people can say they legitimately could definitely switch spots with either of those top 2 teams and be in a national championship. So if you switch it there, I think that I would rather that's the lesser of 2 evils. Rather than have the 3 slot get screwed, I'd rather the 9 slot. You know what I'm saying? And also people who think that 8 would knock down college football. I don't think so. And here's the deal. I actually think it will help because then you've got 8 different spots open. That's more games and more intrigue at the end of the season. At the end of the year, you're focused on the top spots. That's all it is. And about the last 3 weeks, no one cares about the other games. Everyone was watching OU in Florida and Texas and those top tier teams at the end of the year to see who got those top 2 spots. If you extend it to 8, then there's going to be more games for more intrigue. Of course, those top spots, those top teams are going to be watched to see if they lose, it'll drop them further or where they can seed. But then you're going to focus more on those 7, 8, and 9 teams and 10 teams to see if they can get something on at the end of the year to get themselves in. And for me personally, I love that kind of stuff. That's what I like about the NFL at the end of the year, seeing what does a certain team need to do to get in to the playoffs or something like that. So me personally, it would increase my intrigue, which is saying a lot because, as you guys know, I wouldn't be on YouTube making videos about college football if I didn't love this sport. So yeah, and I just doesn't the BCS, and I've probably used this illustration before on YouTube, and I know I've said it all the time. It feels like the college football season is a really great movie. You walk in, action's great, the acting is awesome, the characters are well developed. Every single second you want to see what happens. Every single scene just keeps you on the edge of your seat. But then at the very end of the movie, it falls apart. And it's some crazy, looks like the writer just scribbled something down and moved on. And you leave the theater having experienced just an awesome experience, an awesome movie. But the end is such a letdown. The most important part of a movie is such a letdown that what did the first part really matter if you can't even end on a high note? And I feel like, with the bowl season, bowl games are fun to watch, but I still contend that no one really cares about bowl games. They don't. I mean, the Meineke Car Care Bowl and the PapaJohns.com Bowl, and the Rose Bowl, of course, has great tradition, and you got the Fiesta Bowl and all those great bowls. But they're glorified exhibition games. Because I know personally, being on the UT campus, no one really wears Fiesta Bowl t-shirts. They sell them at the co-op down here, and some people will grab them. Most of the people who wear Fiesta Bowl shirts are the ones who went to the game. Really, and you could see that those bowl games really lost any kind of effect or admiration from any of the teams in them when every single team that won said, no, I don't want it. But we want to be number one. We deserve to be number one. Now, I know some people have, I think, Roller Coaster F Week, who you guys watch his videos. He's got some great stuff, and he replies to a lot of these videos. He wants a 16 team with every conference winner and a couple of at-larges get in. The problem I have with that is I think people have a little common sense know that there are teams like Buffalo and Eastern Carolina and stuff who really aren't good enough to be in there, who don't really deserve it. Those conferences really are that bad. Tulsa, who lost to ECU. Tulsa was putting up crazy numbers all year, breaking records and breaking their own records about setting stuff. But then they played Arkansas, who is a bad SEC team, and got obliterated. That's the competition gap there is between some of the conferences. But there are conferences out there that have proven themselves that if they can go undefeated throughout their conference, they can get in. I would say definitely the Mountain West. And the thing is, with the Mountain West, you've got TCU, BYU, and, of course, Utah. A very good conference who I would contend was probably this past season better than the Big Ten and definitely better than the Big East and the ACC. I also want to look at the ACC and the Big East, two conferences that probably are getting close to, in my opinion, losing an automatic bowl bid. Now, I know all you ACC fans and Big East fans are going to throw up in arms. How dare you say that? There's a lot of parity. No, the teams aren't that good. West Virginia has been the only consistent team from those two conferences. I know Miami's coming on, and Miami, of course, I think will be pretty good this coming season. But West Virginia, I mean, you look at West Virginia, the only reason they've been really good is because of Pat White. And I don't want to take that away from the team, but Pat White is an awesome player. He's gone now. I mean, Noel Devine is a great bag, but without Pat White, I don't see much coming from West Virginia, and Morgantown is going to struggle because of that. So Is there any perfect solution? No, there's not. But it can be fixed. And will it be fixed? No. I don't think we'll ever really see a playoff system anytime soon. I know definitely in the next 6 years there won't be one because of the ESPN signing the rights to air it. But a playoff system, and even this, and once again, a personal preference for me. When I look at March Madness and I look through the bracket, I get excited to see, wow, this team sliding against that team, and then moving on. That would grow exponentially if you could see a bracket of just 8 teams, the 8 top tier teams, in a bracket, playing against each other down the road. I don't know where to put the guy. I don't know if they should be home games or neutral sites. I don't know. We can get into that and maybe some other time. But it would provide closure for most fans. By most, I mean 90% of college football fans for the national champion, rather than just the 15% who like the BCS. It provides closure for teams. And when your team loses in a playoff system, you may still think you're the best team, but you can accept that. You say, you know what, we didn't get it done. And you can say that, some people say, well, the regular season, that, well, you lost, so you lose everything. But it's still not right if you lost, yes, but another team lost as well. But because of rankings and whatnot, that team is considered better than you. That's the problem. So that's my take on the whole situation. Will it get resolved? Probably not. But it is fun to talk about. It is intriguing to talk about. And I thank all you guys who participated in the conversation, and this as well. I'm going to start another one up sometime. It's going to be NFL versus college football. What are some elements that make one better than the other, and whatnot? I think it'll be fun to talk about. So, guys, once again, thanks for this is the 4th video in the series. It's going to be the final video in the series. Thanks to everyone who's participated. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.